Hi, welcome to Studio 3 at Rogue Media. This is Please Bear With Me. My name is Scotty Swingler. 4 years ago, my favorite band Switchfoot put out an album called Interrobang. I've got the shirt on right here of the album cover. And Interrobang is a form of punctuation that combines an exclamation point with a question mark. And on August 24th, with Auburn coming to Waco in just 5 days for a nationally televised game at McLean Stadium, I got to tell you, an Interrobang describes how I feel today. And it probably describes how most college football fans feel just days out from kickoff. The season is here. The moment we've been waiting for 8 months, has come. And if you're a college football junkie like me, it's the start of the best time of the year. And so inherently there's all this excitement. Guys, I got to tell you, I think this Baylor team is going to be good. I think this quarterback is special. I think this collection of talent is the best we've had in maybe a decade in Waco. Hence the exclamation point. I am so ecstatic. I am wired. If you see me Friday night on Green and Gold game day, you're going to see that energy and excitement overflowing. I feel like I'm about to combust. I'm so excited. And yet, the thing about all of us talking about college football in August, we actually have no idea. We actually have no clue. We came off of a Big 12 championship in 2021, and I just assumed we would carry that momentum over into 2022, and instead Baylor went to 2 consecutive worse seasons in 22 and 21 that had most of us ready to run Dave Aranda out of town. 2015 was a team that might have won a national championship, but injuries are part of the game of football, and what do we know about the health of this team in 2025? Dawson Pendergrass is already out for the season. The bottom line is, here, at the emergence of a new season, a new dawn in Baylor football fandom, we are both excited and we have questions. We have no idea what's going to happen. We could go 9-3 or 3-9. Sawyer Robertson could win the Heisman or bust out of the NFL draft. We just don't know. We will take our best guesses. And on this show, the thing about having Terrence Ganaway with me is you're going to get an informed football opinion always here on Please Bear With Me. But here's the thing. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. So join me and embrace the Interrobang this week. The possibilities are limitless. Baylor could win the Big 12, could go to the college football playoff, could have our best season ever, and it all starts Friday night against a big-time SEC opponent. Or it could be a 6-6 year where we're ready to run Dave Aranda out of town again. But regardless of what is going to happen, I know what's happening this week. We are ecstatic. Darrell Dapprich from Locked On Auburn will join us here in a few minutes to preview the opponent. Gerry Bohanon, the last quarterback to win a Big 12 championship for Baylor, will join us. But first, it's Scotty Swingler. It's Baylor legend Terrence Ganaway. Welcome to the 2025 edition of Please Bear With Me.
Oh, man. Oh, man. We're here. We're here, everybody. Terrence Ganaway is here. Look at that Rams jersey behind that man's Beautiful face. Terrence, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much, Scotty. How are you? It's good to be back. Man, I love the intro. I don't know if anyone in Waco or coming to Waco is going to be as excited about Friday's game. And here in Texas, we talk about Friday night lights in high school. So let's get it kicked off right with a great Baylor showing this Friday. But yes, it is good to be back. Oh man.
Oh, man, indeed, my friends. All right. Hey, couple things to get out of the way, and then we'll just jump straight into this game before Darrell joins us here in about 23 minutes to talk Auburn. You are watching. Please bear with me. We are part of the Rogue Sports Network. Man, we have grown tremendously over the last several months. Pete Souza show every day. Matt Mosley's show just started this last week every day. And Friday night, here's what I want you to do. There's 40 of you watching between YouTube and Twitter right now. We're going to get a few more, I imagine, as we keep going. I want you to go find Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube and subscribe to Green and Gold Game Day. Myself, Matt Mosley, Faith Lynch, 3-hour Baylor football pregame show before every single game this season. Terrence is going to show up for that at points. Pete Souza is going to show up this week. We got Shahan Jayaraja. We got Eddie Lackey coming in this week. We're going to honor JJ Joe. It's going to be terrific. Absolutely fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to Green and Gold Game Day and follow us at Rogue Sports. Terrence, the last time we did an episode was like the end of April. It's been a minute. How was your summer? Tell everybody what's going on with the Ganaways.
Summer is always crazy. 4 kids, all in summer track. So it was really hot. And as you remember, in April, I had longer hair. So it was so hot, I went bald. I couldn't stand it. And I don't even remember how we did it at college and high school, practicing in the heat, summer workouts, summer conditioning. I get heart palpitations just thinking about it. But overall, kids stayed healthy. I do want to say that it was fun to see some former Baylor athletes, kids, perform at the state track meet down in College Station. I saw DJ Jones, and then Joe Williams had a son that made it to the finals.
All right.
So all our kids are about the same age, and don't you worry. I went back home and I told my kids that next time we see those kids on the track, we got to show them where we really from. So it was a fun summer, man. We all had fun, stay safe, and now we're back in the grind, and I'm glad it's football season.
I'm glad it's football season too. It feels on one hand like it took forever to get here, and on the other hand, it feels like it was yesterday. I was in Houston. I was sad. Baylor lost to LSU. What a unique opportunity, Terrence, for Baylor to come off a bowl game loss against an SEC opponent and open this season Friday night, national TV, big-time SEC opponent. First of all, I'm going to ask you about what week 1 is like in a second, just generally speaking. But, dude, I don't think in my lifetime, and I'm 32 years old, so that's been a while, right? I don't think Baylor has had a non-conference game this big in Waco, if not at all during my 32 years on planet Earth. Can you think of any non-conference matchup that was this big
with this magnitude? TCU my senior year, but TCU had just came off of a Rose Bowl victory against Wisconsin. But the prestige of their program was really high at the time because Gary Patterson had done something very special with TCU. We are playing a big-time program in the Auburn Tigers, but I do want to remind you that this is not the Auburn Tigers of the early 2010s. They don't have the skill set or big bodies on the offensive and defensive line that we saw then. But listen, I'm not trying to give any team any locker room material heading into week 1. I just know that this team, Baylor and Auburn, they should both be very excited to get their feet wet and start the season with a really great, conference foe in each of their respective conferences. That's going to give us a good idea of where we at and where we are and where we sit in the conference. So I think both teams should be very excited about this Friday.
Well, TCU, your senior year was my first thought too. That was my freshman year, you old man. And by the way, that game was a Friday night also, and lived up to the billing. That was a thrilling football game. But let's just be honest, bro. TCU, as good as they were in that era, was a Mountain West team. Like we're talking SEC coming to Waco. Like that's pretty remarkable. Talk about, like, we kind of saw it yesterday with Kansas State and Iowa State for those that watched that game. There's some week one jitters, probably ain't the right word. I know that exists, but like sloppy. Like you even texted our little group text and said sloppy. Like there was a ton of fumbles in that game. And I know they were on a soccer pitch and there's comments about the field conditions in Ireland and all this, but like, it feels like it's not uncommon for teams week one to just like not be able to go full throttle quite yet. Like we have not played a real football game since, I think that was that Jan 1 that we played LSU, or December, late December, whenever that was, right? So, man, what kind of pressure is that to come into week one where you know you're going to make some mistakes, but it's like you got to go 100 miles an hour right out of the gate, because if you make two mistakes against an SEC opponent, like, you're in trouble. This isn't Texas State or Liberty, and we've lost to those teams in week one in seasons past.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the biggest thing is starting fast and playing fast. You don't have to be mistake-free to win games. You don't have to be mistake-free to win Super Bowl games or national championships. You have to play fast and you have to play fearless. And I think that was ingrained in us while I was at Baylor. And we had a lot of continuity because we had a lot of the same guys back. Now with NIL, the portal, there's a lot of guys and new faces on the roster that are going to be impact players for us. And it's hard to replicate. You and I talked about it in the spring. Like, I hate spring ball, but even as much as you try to promote the hype of practice, it's just practice. And I feel like Allen Iverson all over again. You know, we're talking about practice. So for us in Auburn as well, is to start out fast, play through the whistle. If you make a mistake, do it full tilt. I was texting Jerry Salubi a couple of days ago, him and Lanier Sampson, and Jay Finley made a mistake on a run. He didn't get the ball. He ended up blocking like the outside linebacker, and Robert ran for like 40 yards. And then the next week, we're installing a play that was a mistake. And so at the end of the day, you just want to play fast, and you see things and you put things on film. And maybe it's those mistakes that gives you a perspective of what the defense or the offense is trying to do. And so I'm not so much worried about the atmosphere and pre-snap penalties. I hope there's no post-snap penalties this week. Let the guys just play football. One of the things that I think the NCAA has to look at, and these teams that are continuing to go overseas, is where they go, where they play. The grass is a little bit thicker. Some of these teams never play on grass during the season. And then the weather. So last year, Florida State and Georgia Tech, Florida State looked really sloppy, and it turned out that they were just a sloppy team. I hope by watching Kansas State and Iowa State, both teams get better, but it also gives me a lot of confidence that Baylor has a chance to, really shake up the Big 12 this year.
Well, as we talk about starting fast and playing mistake-free, but also playing fast, and if you're going to make a mistake, do it full tilt. I kind of like how you said that. How much does it help, bro? And we probably covered this in the spring too, but like just bringing it all back here. How much does it help that these guys have played together? Like your quarterback, your top two receivers, your running back, and 4 of your 5 offensive linemen are all back from last year's squad. So even though you're right, you can't replicate the intensity of a game in practice. These guys have fought these battles together.
I mean, Scotty, yes, they have, but at the end of the day, you want to practice fast, you want to play fast, and you want it to be second nature. But I will tell you this: I remember my senior year, I was a starter, first time being a beginning of the season starter, And I said something, and then Heath Nielsen was our SID at the time. He comes over to me and he said, "Hey, you can't say that. You're putting up locker room material." And what I said is, the hay is already in the barn. We just have to go execute. And that was on a Monday press conference with that Baylor typically has. I'm sure it's still on Monday these days. But if you haven't been working in the spring, in the summer, in the last 3 weeks, all of that is going to be put on tape this Friday. And so I wasn't trying to say that, hey, we've already beat TCU, but there's not a lot that we can do. My sons ran the 400 in the state meet this year, and right before the race, it's hot in College Station on a Friday night. It's burning up, and he's trying to find shade because he said it's hot. Like, they're already on the track. And I'm like, bro, it's too late to find shade. So if Baylor's looking for shade this weekend, it's too late. If Auburn's looking for shade this weekend, it's too late. We have to go out there and play fast, physical football. We got to hit them right in the mouth. And I hope if we getting hit in the mouth first, I hope we respond well. But at the end of the day, I think the game has already been won with all the work. Now Baylor or Auburn has to go out there and execute, which I have confidence that with Sawyer and the team coming back on offense, I think we will respond well on offense. Defense is where I think the biggest question mark that you talked about earlier in the show is where I have thoughts and challenges about where did we get better and does it have an impact this year?
Yeah, you're spot on. I'm going to make sure I get this publication right so I don't misspeak. Oh, it doesn't even say in his email. I think it's called Auburn Wire. I've got someone that sent me a list of questions about Baylor to answer for a publication online. And the second question was specifically about the secondary. Auburn is feeling very confident about their receiving core coming into this season, as is Baylor. But the second question is, how strong is Baylor's secondary? And my answer is going to be no clue. Like, absolutely no freaking idea. And my suspicion is they're not very strong. So you're absolutely right. Like, this is a team that's going to be able to score at will on most teams. Auburn is not most teams. But we have no idea how this defense is going to play. That being said, year 2 of Dave Aranda calling plays. I like who they've added on the defensive front. But yeah, Terrence, I have no idea how that backfield's going to play. A lot of comments and chatter coming in on YouTube. 91 folks watching with us. Welcome. Like and subscribe. I would love you forever. Look for Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube as well. Terrence, my friend Bear the Truth asked, and I didn't know you had this record still because I know Abram broke your single season rushing record. He had an extra game to do it, though. We all know this. But he said, hey, Terrence, do you think your touchdown record is in jeopardy this year? Do you have the single season touchdown record too?
Listen, I think if it is, I want Bryson to go get it. It's going to be tough. 21 touchdowns is a lot from a running back. But you saw what Ashton Genty did last year. I think if the cards and everything fall into place, we have a very balanced attack. I think that's where I thrived at. If we can't throw the ball really well, they're going to stack the box against Bryson. Bryson is going to have a much harder time getting to 1,000 yards this year if we cannot move the ball around. I had All-American receivers around me. I had All-American linemen around me. And I had a Heisman Trophy winner as a quarterback. So it was a lot of pressure off of me. And I just snuck through some gaps every once in a while and ended up scoring 21 rushing touchdowns. I had a reception touchdown, so 22 on the year. But, listen, that's why you go out there and practice. You put newspaper clippings up and you say, hey, this is what I want, and you go get it. I wasn't even a starter at the time when I said I'm going to rush for 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. And by the end of that season, I needed a couple of touchdowns and I needed a couple of 100 yards. And that's what I did against Washington. So
you set some bowl records. Yeah.
I think it's for the taking, but I don't think it's going to be easily broken. But listen, I'm all for anyone and everyone going out there and putting their head down and going to work.
Hey, I want to address Jay Miranda's in the comments, lighting us up. Auburn fan, here to see Darrell here in a minute. What's up, Jay? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Jay, I would love to know, you can comment back. I'll ask Darrell this question as well. And I promise I'm not being arrogant. I promise, bro. Just hear me out for a second. First of all, he said there's not one advantage Baylor has other than being at home. And then he said Baylor didn't play receivers or defensive backs as good as Auburn last year. Jay, here's my question, and I really am not trying to be whatever. I'm just telling the truth. I have not watched a lot of Auburn football for 3-4 years, so I'll own that. So you can educate me. Auburn's coming off a 5-7, 6-7, 5-7 seasons, the last 3. I understand the feelings about SEC athletes versus Big 12 athletes. I think some of that's overblown. We're going to ask Gerry Bohanon about that at the end of the show. He made Ole Miss look stupid a couple years ago. But I would just argue back to you, when you say we didn't play receivers or defensive backs as good as Auburn, we did lose to LSU in the Texas Bowl. I think they were probably significantly better than Auburn's, and they did beat us. So this isn't necessarily a bragging point. But I just disagree with you. Like Iowa State just had 2 receivers get drafted in the second round. TCU just had 2 receivers get drafted. And this is just off the dome. Who else did we play last season that was really good? So
this is what I would say. What's the guy's name in the chat?
Jay Miranda.
Jay, listen, thanks for chiming in. From a former athlete perspective, nothing matters but wins. If you want to take moral victories and you want to say you played against this guy, Justin Jefferson, if you're still getting toasted against Justin Jefferson, you're still getting toasted. At the end of the day, it's not X's and O's, it's Johnny's and Joe's. And I think we have a really great group of receivers. Second year under both coordinators. This is the first time in Aranda's career. So first time that we'll have the coordinators, Aranda's the defensive coordinator, and Spavital is the offensive coordinator, coming back. There's a lot of continuity at Baylor. And we got a quarterback that has a lot of confidence. He was at Auburn. You know him. And I bet you his hair is going to be on fire if it hasn't been on fire all week long. So if you want to take moral victories, yeah, let's go take them. Like Scotty said earlier in the show, anything that happened in early August, like, it's just talk. And it's, we're Stephen A.
We're all just talking.
So, I think it's going to be a close game. 27-24 sounds great to me. But we got Ashton, Hawkins coming back, who wasn't planning on playing. And now he knows this is his final season. I bet you he's going to have something to say about whatever DBs you got on the other side of the field. And I want to refrain because I'm a former athlete. I can go there toe to toe with you, but and I don't want anybody saying, "Hey, let's go lock up Ashton Hawkins." But I definitely want to caution you by saying, "Hey, we play some of the best of the best." At the end of the day, it's football, and all of that stuff is handled on the field.
Yeah,
what we do.
Friday's gonna be fun, bro. It's gonna be fun. And Jay, I see your comments coming in about SEC, and we did lose to LSU. I wasn't happy about that. We also lost our running back, who will get drafted in the top 3 rounds in the first quarter of that game. But that's neither here nor there. We can all make excuses for why we win and lose games. Here's the bottom line, Jay. The biggest area I disagree with you is you said Baylor has not one advantage. There are 2 advantages I will give Baylor, and you are welcome to disagree. One is the quarterback, bro. Jackson Arnold was benched last year. There's all these reports. I'll ask Darrell about it of defense going easy on him in practice. Hugh Freeze is out here, and I think he's BSing. I don't think he's actually going to play 3 quarterbacks, but he's throwing these smoke screens up about playing multiple quarterbacks. Bro, Baylor has one of the 10 best quarterbacks in college football. I think he's better than that, but I think at a reasonably objective level, one of the 10 best quarterbacks in college football this season, without question, is Sawyer Robertson. He's going to get drafted. He's jumped off at Todd McShay at Manning camp. Quickly rising up scouts draft boards, consistent. Last year, he wasn't even the starter for the full season. When he finally got integrated, Baylor rattled off 6 straight wins. It's his first full season as the guy. I feel much more confident at that position. Secondly, I would say head coach, bro. And that's just straight with you. Hugh Freeze couldn't get it done consistently at Ole Miss. Has not had a winning season yet at Auburn. Dave Aranda is inconsistent and drives me crazy, but bro, he's got a national championship on his resume. He did win a Big 12 championship and a Sugar Bowl over Ole Miss. in 2021. So if the game comes down to 3 points, like the line suggests, like I see some of you in the comments suggesting, I'm going to go with the head coach and the quarterback I trust. And in both of those areas, in this game specifically, I'll take Baylor. By the way, I may not take Baylor in both of those categories next week at SMU, depending on how some things look for them next week. I'll just be honest with you. That's a quarterback and head coach that I'd put up there with ours. But anyway, that's how I felt about that. Darrell should join us any second. Terrence, what else do we need to talk about this game before Darrell jumps in to give us a deep dive on Auburn?
I don't think anything really. I love the commentary that's coming from the chat. Listen, that this means is it's going to be a fun night in Waco on Friday. I love that we're going to be the center of attention on Friday night, and a lot of people are going to be tuning in. And I think very early this season, you're going to figure out what form Baylor is in, what form Auburn is in. And I have very high expectations out of Sawyer Robertson. And we talked about it in the spring. I think Sawyer needed Spavital more than Spavital needed Sawyer. And I think as an offensive coordinator and a guy that could be a head coach very, very soon in the future, I think he knows what he's doing, and he's going to put these players in the best position to win a football game. And so I got Baylor scoring 30-plus points. Now, at the end of the day, we got to have some defense that's going to stop Auburn from moving the ball down the field. Jackson Arnold is going to be okay. And I know our defensive line is going to have to play fast, and our linebackers are going to have to get places angry to keep a balanced secondary. But Dave Aranda knows what he's doing. He's been watching film all year on Auburn, and let's go. He's played them before. So I'm not worried about all the other stuff. I'm worried about what's happening on the field. And, man, we should have a packed house. It's going to be hot, and I'm going to be in all black sweating. But I'm ready to rock and roll.
It is a blackout Friday night. The chrome gold helmets are back. A lot of excitement. And, Terrence, perfect timing, just as you were finishing up your answer. Darrell Dapprich joins us. Contributor for Locked on Auburn here, Darrell. We're going to make you the big face here so everybody can see you talking. Welcome to Please Bear With Me, Darrell. Thanks so much for jumping in with us. How you doing?
Man, it's great to be here. I really appreciate the invite. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, man, we engaged on Twitter probably 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. Started the smack talk early and decided to get you in here to fill us in. And man, there's already been some chatter. We got some fans in the comments talking some smack. Here's my question, and I asked the commenters this, and I just want you to convince me, because I have not watched a lot of Auburn football, admittedly, in the last few seasons. But Auburn's coming off of 5-7, 6-7, 5-7, and there seems to be so much confidence that they're just going to come into Waco and roll through Baylor, who returns almost every offensive starter, a great OC. And has won a conference championship in recent seasons. So fill me in on, where is all of this confidence coming from? What has you confident about Auburn this football season?
I'm glad you brought this up, because I think there's a narrative that needs to be put to bed. Anytime you get some lunatic fringe fan base that starts to get on social media and proclaim, that this is going to be a blowout, or this is going to be a victory. And look, it's on both sides. It's on both fan bases. That's what you don't need to look at. You need to do a deep dive. I can tell you that people that have been covering Auburn for 20, 30 years, that have websites like Auburn Undercover and the On3 websites, and some of us that do podcasts that are actually credentialed for Auburn and not just kind of like fanboy websites, feel like this game is a pick'em. Do we feel like the Baylor side should be as confident as they are, just because this 5-7 narrative? People can improve from year to year. It's happened a lot in the SEC. People go from 5 wins to 8 wins to 9 wins. It's what you do to address that 5-7. And I think Auburn has done a lot. People can joke on Jackson Arnold all they want, but they improved or upgraded the quarterback position. Now, you can say there wasn't a lot to go on with Peyton Thorne. It's not a high bar, but the defensively, they were good last year and they should be better this year. They've got one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. I mean, they address needs in the portal like Baylor did.
Yeah.
And I think that this narrative that the people that really, really matter and that follow Auburn and have done it for years feel like this game could go either way and feel like this is the toughest opening opponent on the road that Auburn's faced since USC 2002. So that's the reality of it. It's, but when you see things like when me and you started engaging at SEC Media Days and a lot of your followers were absolutely confident that Baylor was dropping 49 points on Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this is an SEC defense that was 30th in the country last year that's improved. Baylor's the best offense Auburn will face all year. I know the schedule. I know the rosters of the teams in the SEC that Auburn's playing. And offensively, this is the most proficient team Auburn will play. I also feel like it will be, and I get the whole argument about you guys improving on defense, but one of the most suspect secondaries that Auburn will face.
No doubt.
It's strength against strength and weakness against weakness that's really going to make this game turn out the way it is. And it's ironic. Sir. It's almost like not who can – Auburn's defense versus Baylor's offense is going to be the prime time. But the weaknesses of both teams, who is going to be least weak and what's not their strength is maybe who comes out on top.
Darrell, I think that's an excellent opening breakdown. Could not agree with you more, especially I've already said it once and we'll say it again a couple of times, I'm sure. Baylor secondary, absolutely the biggest question mark, weakness, unknown of the whole team. And obviously Auburn's got some great receivers. Darrell, let me introduce you to Terrence Ganaway. Terrence is a record-setting running back, played with RG3 at Baylor. Terrence, what would you like to ask Darrell?
Yeah, Darrell, welcome. In years before, Baylor had some years where we were in mid-season form at the start of the season. This is year 3, Coach Freeze. What form do you expect to see from the Tigers next Friday?
Well, first of all, it's nice to meet you, Terrence. I remember you at Baylor, so it's nice to be on with you. I think that this game, I've said this, and my co-host, Zach Blackerby, or the host of the show that I'm the guest of, has said this. It's the most important game of the season and probably the most important game in Hugh Freeze's tenure to this point because of what you allude to. Auburn doesn't have the luxury or the opportunity, in my opinion, to kind of get things right after 3, 4, 5 games and find the formula. This game sets the tone for the year because Auburn goes on the road to Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and plays Georgia in Jordan-Hare in a 3-game stretch after these first 3 games.
Wow.
They don't have an opportunity to kind of ease into the season. So again, as I alluded to last time, this isn't a neutral site game. This is the toughest opponent Auburn will play on the road to opening a season, non-conference since USC. He better be right out of the gate ready to play as far as what they're going to do scheme-wise, the level that Jackson Arnold is comfortable, what they put in. Guys, you've heard this adage before about how much a team improves most from game 1 to game 2, and sometimes you start off the season and then you add stuff as you go along. Auburn does not have that luxury. They better empty the barrel come Friday night. And I think Baylor's – so this is – I think Baylor could lose this game and go 10-2.
I do too.
I really do. I think Auburn loses this game and they're staring 7-5 in the face. So
I agree with you.
One's more important. I'm just saying the way the schedule sets up and the conferences thereof, Baylor could lose this game and it not even they could still go on and have a 10-win season. I think for Auburn, this sets the tone on what they have to do in a brutal early stretch.
Yeah, listen, Scotty and I talked about in the spring when we were just covering spring ball. One of the things that I said is that we have to come out of the gates fast. So last year we started out 2-4, finally found our quarterback, finally found our running back, and we found a groove, and we knocked off 6. I mean, we came out of a bye week and we played Texas Tech, and we did what we needed to do against Texas Tech, which I'm always happy about. But I do think even finishing, like we did last year, 8-4 in regular season, I think a couple of people on our sideline, not in our sideline, in the stands, will start to think a little, look at Dave Aranda's side eye if we don't come out and play a clean game. Because we can't afford. SMU is a good team, and the Big 12 is wide open. So we could go 10-2, and then all is right if we lose to Auburn and we win the Big 12. But we can't go 7-5 like Auburn,
right?
Because I think there'll be a lot of fans that are upset and probably ready to pull the carpet off and under Aranda.
Well, and Darrell, I'll add this onto that too. I agree with Terrence that I think Aranda would be in hot water immediately if this game was a loss, especially if it's ugly. But furthermore, like you were talking about how Auburn season starts off with that stretch. Baylor's got Auburn, SMU, who's just in the playoff, and then opens Big 12 play 2 weeks later with Arizona State. So Baylor's schedule is pretty brutal early on as well. 2 playoff teams after your SEC opponent. Pretty tough stretch there to open the season for Baylor too. Darrell, there's a lot of people that were asking me on Twitter an hour ago. You saw my post about the defense specifically for Auburn.
Sure.
Give Baylor fans a quick overview of who to watch for on that defensive side. Someone asked specifically about the defensive line, but you just said that's going to be strength on strength for these two teams. Who is Auburn going to really count on the defensive side of the ball to slow down this Baylor offense?
Well, it all starts with Keldrick Falk, defensive end. He's a junior, all SEC, returning performer, has been mocked in the top 15 in the draft next year. Really, really good, effective pass rusher. And then they've got a bookend on the other side, Kieron Crawford, who really came on last year, that I think Auburn's going to be really, really good at rushing the passer. My question, and it's ironic that one of your followers asked this question because they nailed it. One of the big question marks I had going into the season was the depth of Auburn's interior defensive line. I felt like they were good on the edges. I really like Bobby Jamison Travis, who's their starting nose tackle. I love Malik Blockton, who's a sophomore, is a really good player. But then after that, I thought, where are you going to get your depth from? Auburn went out and got a nose tackle from Western Kentucky, Dallas Walker, who's a good player at the group of 5 level. We'll see how that translates. And then I thought, there's Zakevious Walker, who's a 5th-year guy. The true freshmen, 2 of them, Jordan Crawford and Malik Autry, have really stepped up in practice and scrimmages to give them a little bit of depth. I still think that's an area that I'm a little bit concerned about. Linebacker, Lewis Riddick, really, really good player. I'm not Lewis Riddick, DeMarcus Riddick, really good player. Then they've got a transfer from Maryland named Caleb Wheatland. But then after that, they're a little young. Xavier Atkins is a transfer from LSU. He couldn't break their rotation, but he's over at Auburn. Robert Woodyard, this is his time. So, again, the linebackers are very athletic. They can run, but we need some experience there. Secondary is where this team – there were 4 NFL scouts at a scrimmage 2 weeks ago. They remarked about the wide receiver room, and they talked about the secondary being one of the best in the country. Not only your corners, your starting corners. Auburn went out and got a guy named Anthony Pleasant from Tulane and Rayon Strader from Miami, Ohio, who, in my opinion, could start at a lot of Power 4 programs. Their backup, their depth, and their safeties are really good too. So rushing the passer and a good secondary, in my opinion, is what you need to have. You're never going to stop Sawyer Robertson. You're never going to control him or contain him, but I think you have to make it reasonable and don't let him go crazy. And I think that's where there's a formula there where he's still going to get his, but to keep a guy like that from getting 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, you need a pass rush and you need a good secondary. And Auburn has both, which, again, he's still going to get his, but I think it's an example of maybe Sawyer Robertson sees the best pass rush and maybe some of the best secondary he'll see all year.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the running game, which, again, if your interior defensive line is young, Baylor may be able to expose that. We'll see.
Well, and I'll just tell you, Darrell, at least amongst my friends from Baylor, there's a debate about who's more important for this offense between Sawyer and Bryson Washington. Sawyer, very good. Bryson Washington, one of the best backs we've ever had at Baylor already, just after 1 year as the starter. It's pretty evident. Really, really talented kid. Terrence, did you have another question for Darrell?
No, I don't, Darrell. Thanks so much. But I will tell you this, Scotty. I was a running back. I love running backs. They are really great at keeping the offense balanced. Uh, I don't want to lose either one of them. But if we had to lose one, we have to keep Sawyer Robertson.
All right,
I
I'm
don't.
sending this to Drew.
I don't. I don't think anybody could not do that. And Bryson's a great kid, a great running back. He can get to the second level and he can make guys miss. But if you can't have a guy commanding the offense, there's not a running back in college football that can just sit there and run against a 10, 11-man box every time.
Darrell, let me ask you this since we got you and maybe 3 or 4 more minutes before
Sure.
Gerry Bohanon jumps in here. Tell us a little bit, Baylor fans, about Walker White. We don't know him well. I'm sure he's not your favorite player now that he was there for a year, didn't make much noise and back in Waco. But what did Baylor get out of the portal with White coming from Auburn to Baylor?
Well, he is one of my favorite kids. When you do this for a long time, I got to know his father a little bit through social media, and then he actually came up to himself and introduced me on the sidelines.
Oh, great.
Game. Very nice family. His mom, obviously, with the battle that she was going through. And so they're a great family, a tremendous family. And I wish him nothing but the best. And I'm glad he didn't transfer somewhere into the SEC. He's doing what is best for him. And Auburn kind of had to revamp the quarterback room last year. And a lot of Auburn fans, if they're salty about it, if they're being really honest with themselves, is because they liked Walker. And they thought that he had, a pretty good future at Auburn. So what I think they're getting, and once the maturation process starts and he gets some experience and some snaps, is a guy that can be a dual threat. Now, he's not going to run RPO, or he's not going to run – the reading the back and take it up, but he can throw it and he can run it. And I think he's very athletic. And I think just with a year or two of experience, he just needed an opportunity. And when Deuce Knight came in, the 5-star everything quarterback that's on Auburn's roster now, there was kind of like the writing on the wall. And then this kid, Auburn went and got a kid out from underneath Penn State to flip. It's just unfortunate. It's a numbers game now. But that's the beauty about the transfer portal, that I never, ever begrudge a kid. If Walker White left Auburn and he was starting, and he left Auburn to go get a bigger bag at Ohio State or USC or someplace like that, like some other players have done, that's one thing. But when you leave a program because you just want playing time, that's what it's there for. That's what the portal is designed for. It's not there to chase bags. It's there for a kid that's at a group of 5 to move up to a power 4, so he gets an opportunity maybe to play big time football, or a kid that's on the bench with a power 4 saying, well, I want to play and let scouts see me, so I may go down to a group of 5. It's all about playing time. When it becomes about chasing the dollars and, Oregon and Phil Knight money gets a kid that's starting 3 years at a Power 4 school, that's where I have a problem with it, but not in this scenario that Walker White left. He did what was best for him and his family, and he'll have an opportunity to play in a year or two, and good for him.
Love hearing about family values, being a good kid, all that stuff. We love to hear it. So last question for you. I'll close with this because you mentioned that quarterback room. Mm-hmm. Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth about what's going on at quarterback for Auburn. Just because there's a lot of BS on Twitter that you and I would both roll our eyes at, right? I mean, I think you and I are pretty like-minded here. But Jackson Arnold, highly recruited kid, not a super proven player, right? And Hugh Freeze did. I don't know why he decided to do this, but I feel like Hugh Freeze just threw the wrench into the middle of the room when he was talking about maybe playing multiple quarterbacks this week. What is really going on? What have you seen at practice? What have you heard? What is happening in that quarterback room? And what do you expect from Jackson Arnold Friday night?
I expect one quarterback to play, first of all. Do not pay attention to what Hugh Freeze said about playing 3 quarterbacks. Guys, it's a mind game. It's no different than when a coach gets asked if a particular player is going to be healthy enough to play on a Saturday, and he says, yeah, right now he's questionable, but he probably will be ready to play by Saturday when he knows all along that kid's not going to play. What Hugh Freeze said is just mind games fodder to make somebody on the Baylor's defensive side to think, oh, are we going to have packages for Ashton Daniels? Is Deuce Knight going to come in on 2nd and longs? And right now, I don't see either of those scenarios. The only way 3 quarterbacks play is if you've got an injury, a really, really inefficient starter in Jackson Arnold, or it's a blowout. And I don't see any of those 3 scenarios happening. Jackson Arnold, I have seen Robbie Ashford, I have seen TJ Finley, I have seen Bo Nix, I have seen Peyton Thorne, and now I have seen Jackson Arnold in fall camp. And other than Bo Nix, Jackson Arnold has had the best camp. Ball coming out of his hand, accuracy. You can take one video of him holding the ball and freeze on his visor and go with that. And there's about 15 of him going to the back shoulder, throwing it to camp. So, now, does that translate when the bullets are flying Friday night? And we'll see. But I also think, and you guys know this, in scrimmages, when you blow the play dead, Jackson Arnold, one of his biggest attributes and tools in the tool belt is his legs. And if you blow the play dead and you can't run, Cam Newton looked very, very average in Auburn's A-Day game in 2010 because they would not let him run. And people are like, this kid's supposed – and they wouldn't. They blew the whistle. And so running adds a dimension to that. So, we'll see. Again, I'm a show-me guy first. But from what I've seen as far as arm talent, ball placement, attitude, all that kind of stuff, we'll see if free. And look, guys, I want to go back to something you guys said. If Auburn goes 7-5, when you come to Jordan-Hare next year, you'll see a different coach on the sideline than Hugh Freeze.
Right.
So,
right.
When we welcome you to Jordan-Hare, it'll be a little different story. So there you go.
Darrell, thank you so much for your time. Let people know where to find you, where to find your content this week.
Sure. DAP6410 on X. I love interacting with – there's some really knowledgeable, great Baylor fans, and we've had some really good conversations. And then Wednesdays and Fridays, Locked on Auburn. And then I guess we're talking about doing a show Friday, right? 4:00 with you live at a tailgate.
Yes.
Will I have escorts, police escorts or bodyguards?
No, we are good Christian people at Baylor, sir. You will be welcomed. You will be offered a beer, and we'll have a good time.
There we go. No, listen,
yeah.
I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, following the University of Arizona for years and years and years. And so when Arizona jumped into the Big 12, I followed it really, really closely last year. So I was watching a lot of Big 12 games instead of some later night SEC games, because that Pac-12 after dark went away, and that broke my heart.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, there it goes. I already told people once at the beginning, but I'll tell everybody now. We've got several viewers right now. Green and Gold Game Day. Find it on YouTube. Subscribe. 3-hour pregame show. And Darrell will be on very early with us Friday evening. Very kind to join us on set in Waco, live from McLean Stadium. It's going to be awesome. Darrell, thanks, man. We'll catch up, and I'll see you Friday, man.
Nice meeting you guys. Take care.
See you, bro. All right. Darrell Dapprich. Good stuff there. In just a second, I think we've got Gerry Bohanon ready to go in the wings. When I see his face pop back up here, we'll talk to Gerry. Terrence, any thoughts on what Darrell reported from Auburn?
No, I think it's a tight game, man. Both teams have to execute early, and listen, I have no idea how either team is going to play. I know Baylor a lot more than I know Auburn, but at the end of the day, you have to put your head down. You have to focus really tightly this week, and you have to go over the game plan, and you got to be confident in what you're going to put on script, and these guys got to go out there and execute. So, I mean, it sounds so basic, but the greats, they do basics very well, and I hope that, this week is just sharpening some of the tools in the toolkit, and, man, going out there all black, chrome domes, splitting wigs, and let's drive back to Dallas after the game happy. Or I have to stop in Buc-ee's in Hillsboro, eat my feelings or something.
Absolutely. I think we got Gerry with us. I'm a see. Yeah. Here we go. Everybody. Gerry.
How y'all doing?
Hey, there he is. Gerry Bohanon, Baylor quarterbacking legend, joins us on Please Bear With Me. Gerry, have you met Terrence Ganaway before?
I have. How you doing, Terrence? Gerry Bohanon here. So officially meeting him now.
Gerry, man, Scotty and I talked about this after you had left, and we didn't have a really great quarterback and situation. And I was like, man, I wish Gerry was still here. I know Scotty's a big fan. I'm a big fan, man. Glad to have you here. I love to get your perspective on this coming weekend. And I know you've played for other teams, man, but I hope you still got a BU tatted across your chest.
I always will. I always will. And I appreciate you for having me on. And should I definitely miss it? Definitely was some great times, great memories there. But you know how it is. Time goes on, and we all got to get out of there at some point. But it's still all a part of it, so still good.
Gerry, hey, I wanted to bring you on for two reasons, specifically this week. And you can come on the show anytime. I hope if you're in Waco for a game, let me know. We'll get you on our pregame show. But, man, this is a big week. Baylor not only is putting a team on the field this season that's capable of winning the Big 12, but also opening Friday night against an SEC opponent. And you are the last Baylor quarterback to win a Big 12 championship. By the way, as many great quarterbacks as Baylor has had, and there have been 5 or 6 excellent ones. Only 2 have won the Big 12, and you were one of them, sir. But also, nice ringtone.
Oh,
but
good.
but also, you went out in a Sugar Bowl, and you guys ran Ole Miss out of the Superdome. So I'm curious for your perspective on the mentality that needs to go into this game Friday night against Auburn. What is it like to get on the field against an SEC opponent? And what did you guys have going into that Sugar Bowl that led to that dominant win?
We ignored the logo. The logo meant nothing to us. I mean, we knew the offseason we had. We were confident in our abilities, how strong we were, how fast we were. We just knew that if we all came out there on one accord, then the ball was in our court. And so honestly, we walked into it not to say we were cocky, but we were confident, very, very confident. And it was just y'all on our field. They had more fans and everything, but they were coming on our field. We went through some tough times, some adversity throughout the season, losing to TCU. My fault. Losing to losing to Oklahoma State. But those moments, it made us. And we never turned our back on each other. No matter if someone bad, good, we had each other back. And so it's a mentality to go out there and just impose your will and have your way with those guys. And it starts with the first play. Come out there and be physical. So everybody gonna look at this logo and say, oh, this is SEC team this SEC team that. None of that matters. Like if y'all got your mind made up, they're laughing on defense, they're laughing on offense, this kickoff team, this kickoff return team. Playmakers make plays. I don't care where you at, what that logo says. If you a baller, you a baller. Go out there and show it. And so it's that mentality that every play, I'm gonna show them that this is my field. Right? I run this. This is not y'all, I run this. And so just going out there with that mentality, it carries over and that energy is contagious. One guy sees it, you make a play, the next guy sees it. And the next guy sees it. And it just trickles down on all of the guys. And now it's like, okay, they not who we thought we were. They not nothing. They not who we thought they were. And they not even who they thought they were. So in that case, just go out there and dominate because a lot of teams, you have a lot of front runners. You don't have too many guys that can come out there, too many teams that come out there and get hit in the mouth and just stand back up and take it and deliver a blow and take another blow and deliver another one. So you go out there and pose your will because in their mind, they thinking, okay, this is a Big 12 team. We're already bigger than them, faster than we in the SEC, so-called. And so from that point, they're going to think they're going to come in there with the big head anyways. And that's when you, being an underdog, you show, okay, it's more to us than what you guys think it is. And they just got to go out there and show it. I think it's an exciting matchup, though. I know I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be tuned in.
Absolutely. We were just talking with Darrell Dapprich about this. This is a huge game for both these teams, programs, head coaches. It's quarterbacks. It's a big deal all around. Terrence, what do you want to ask Gerry about this weekend?
Gerry, why did you say TCU were your fault? Just let some of the people that might not know what's happening.
Yeah, we was going down on a 2-minute drive, but it was about a minute and something left, and about 40 some seconds left, and we had got inside the 40. and they had an end to the boundary. We was running a type of smash concept, but it's a stemmed in C route, corner route with a delayed flat in the slot, and the end dropped under it, and I threw it right to him. Threw it right to him. Didn't see him. Threw it right to him. So at the end of the day, everybody on that 2021 team gonna tell you that game was my fault. I said that. I said that after the game. I said it the next day, and I apologized and told them it'll never happen again. And then we came out the next week and rolled over Oklahoma. So don't nobody talk about it. Don't nobody remember nothing but the Oklahoma game. I remember the TCU. So
Listen, I was about
that's
to
what it
say,
is.
Terrence, I'm a little sad you made him remember the whole play because I knew immediately what he was talking
I
about.
knew
But
immediately.
I did too. It's just as athletes, you remember those moments more than the moments where you like carry the trophy off the field. You're like,
Yeah,
bro,
way
how did
more.
I get that? Like,
What?
I mean, I
I
remember
agree.
at Oklahoma State. Now it wasn't my fault because Oklahoma State beat us like 55-20.
yeah,
But I dropped the option pitch from Robert, and it rolled out of bounds right at the 2, and I literally I catch the ball, I walk in the end zone. You know how many options I got the rest of the year, bro? They pulled me off the options all year long.
True.
And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
bro, I got good hands, like solid hands, decent. I had stick them on my hands and everything, but hey, it didn't happen. So I remember some of those plays. And if you're in the locker room, guy, you just cut up and you're like, hey man, I remember that. And you just have fun with it. You had a phenomenal career at Baylor. We missed you at Baylor. And I know you went on, and we just talked about it with Darrell, that sometimes the transfer portal is meant for people to go out there and continue to play football at a high level at other places to get
Right.
film. But we loved you there. I mean, I think that season was one of the most fun seasons. I had just moved to Florida, and I'm sitting out there watching that Big 12 championship game, screaming, and I know everyone in Florida knew who I was by the end of that game. So, listen, I love watching you play. I love watching what you do. This weekend is really big for what we expect out of Dave Aranda. You've played for him. You kind of was the bridge in between. This is a big year for him. I know we finished the year on fire last year outside of the bowl game. What's your expectations for Dave Aranda this year as a former player?
Dave Aranda is going to be well prepared for that game. First off, he's going to be excited about the game. He's not a guy that's going to show you too much with emotions, but he's going to be coaching his butt off to make sure that those guys come out there and play the best that they can. Okay, y'all speak to my son. He know you want to come say hey. Come on, say hey. I know you want to say hey. Hey. You want to say hey? Hey.
hey,
Hey.
hi, nice to meet you.
All right, see you later. See you later. Bye bye.
He got better hair than you, Gary.
Way better hair. I just cut mine off. He wanted to cut his off like mine, but I told him no, he's too handsome for that. Could you go back in there, please, sir? All right, sir. All right, thank you. But yeah, I know Aranda's going to have those guys ready. He's going to be excited. The defense is going to be rolling. I mean, those guys have a second year with the OC, which they look good on offense last year anyways. They look solid on defense as well. But now I feel like there's going to be a different kind of culture last year because different kind of culture than last year because, going into the season, guys, maybe we've been questioning who's going to be the coach. What is this new OC? Things looked a little different. I think they had this whole offseason. What did we go wrong at last year? And I know Aranda is going to address that in every aspect. And so I'm expecting those guys to go out there and look like BU football is supposed to look. I know it's the first game and everything, but I think it's going to show a lot. And I think those guys are going to be prepared for that game. It would surprise me if they weren't, honestly, because I know the way Aranda makes their schedule, the way fall camp is, the way summer workouts are, they're going to be tough. And they're going to be ready for that battle. So I'm excited to watch it.
You brought up an interesting point about, and you didn't say this word, but pressure. Last year, I think everyone felt like if Dave Aranda lost a couple more games that he would have been gone. Yep. We have a change at quarterback, and then everything just starts to get a little bit more smooth as the season went on. Yep. So this offseason, like, hey, you got your offensive coordinator back, you got your defensive coordinator back. So maybe there is a lot less pressure.
A
And
lot
we know
less.
as athletes, less pressure, the more relaxed and fast you play. I
Exactly.
haven't even thought about that, but that's really great. That a really good call out that you had.
Yeah, and Aranda is a guy that pressure don't mean nothing to him. He likes it. He's quiet. He likes it though. It gets him excited. So as you see last year, yeah, you can say it was pressure, but he stood 10 toes down, and you know what I'm saying. Wins, and it looked good. Like it looked how it's supposed to look. Go ahead. You got to go in there, Pootie. You got to go in there, dude. You put Uno up. Cage. Y'all interrupting me. Can y'all go in there, please? Hold on 1 second.
You're great, bro. I'll pull you into just a second. Terrence and I both know that dad life.
Yeah, man. I yelled at my kids. I mean, everybody think I wear a halo. I'm the best father in the world, but in between breaks, on breaks, it's pure yelling. And we got school tomorrow, so I'm like, you have to yell and get into a bedtime routine. Man, I really miss having Gary, and I know there's some chats that we can go back and look at. If we had his leadership the year after we won the Big 12, I think we are a different team. I think we have a little bit more continuity because I know, and we talked about it earlier when you said who's more important, the quarterback or the running back. I mean, unless you're Ashton Genty, and I know Bryson Washington is really good, Sawyer Robinson is the most important man in Waco, Texas.
Yes.
Gerry, tell me about Sawyer. Do you know him? Have you gotten to speak with him? And what do you know about him, whether as a player or a leader? What have you heard? What have you seen?
Honestly, I've never talked to him. I shook his hand after the game, but that was really it. I just know honestly from the film that I've watched from him, he's a good ball. He's a good player. He's a baller. He's a he's a good player, and I'm actually excited to see him second year in the offense. Honestly, I think he's gonna do some. He did big things last year, but I think this season he's gonna ball out even more because I know he's more comfortable in the offense, and they got a couple more guys in there. Lost a couple guys, but his second year in the offense, so I think it'll be exciting.
And we sometimes talk about that on like a fan level, like, oh yeah, year two, but explain as a quarterback who's called the plays, run the plays. Explain what a big deal that is. The difference between year one and year two in an offense.
Kind of sort of how he just talked about pressure. There's like pressure on yourself though. Like I don't want to mess up. I want to be perfect. Like you're still working through these things, these thoughts on plays. I'm wondering, um, what coverage am I getting against this play? And you got to think about as quarterbacks. There's so much going on in the game, anyways. Like you got coverages going on, pressures going on, protection issues that you have to address. Maybe check plays. You got to operate on the 2.5 seconds. Like it's just so much. So it's like the more reps you get, and as a quarterback, you can never get enough reps. Like you never can. I talk to guys, quarterbacks I train about mental reps all the time. Like that, those are more important than the field reps because you get a certain amount on the field. And so just being able to get those mental reps just make you more comfortable. You get 2 off seasons in a new program. You get 2 years in a system. You got game reps in that system. And it's like just going in watching the film. You're going out there, you're not thinking, you're reacting. And that's the way you want to play as quarterback. As a quarterback, you want to be a reactor. You don't want to be out there thinking, wondering, as you catch the snap, what do I need to do with the ball? No, you walk out there after you got the play call, you see what's going on. You already know you're going with the ball majority of the time until those guys give you a different picture that you hadn't seen on film before. And so for me, I think Sawyer's going to go out there and shine. I know those guys have a really good offense. They have some fast guys catching the ball for them. They're gonna have a good old line. I think the defense is gonna be really solid. I'm just excited to see those guys go out there and put it all together because I know 2 years in the offense that you guys get on the same page. But like spring ball looks a lot different. First year spring ball and fall camp, we're learning. Second year, we're tweaking and we're getting better. We're dominating this offense. We're executing this offense, and it's a continuous process. But that process is starting higher up on the graph. So I would say this year it'll look a lot better. Even though it looked good last year, I think it'll look better.
Gerry, I know you didn't get to play in that 2021 game against Oklahoma State because you were dealing with your hamstring injury, but you were you had kind of have a unique vantage point because you went up to Cowboy Stadium in 2019. You did play in that game. I think three quarterbacks played in that game to get Baylor through that game. But that was a very, very, very heartbreaking close loss to Oklahoma in 2019.
Right.
And then, of course, 2 years later, you guys went up there and Blake played great in that first half, and Baylor won in 2021 that championship game. What were a few of the little things that made the difference between being close but not quite there and then getting it done in 2021?
Man, if you go back to 2021, every interview I did, I'm pretty sure I talked about believing and believe. We knew, we believed it, we spoke it, we practiced like it, we ate like it, we talked like it. Like it was just a mindset that we were not going to lose. Like we just weren't. We've been here before. Most of the guys was a lot of the same guys, plus a lot of guys that were new that were added, and some guys that left. But the guys that really played and dominated the majority of that game, there were guys that were there in 2019.
Right.
And so for us, we knew what it was like. We just thought about, okay, this year we didn't even know if we would be there. It was like when we got there, it was kind of like we was putting pressure on ourselves. 2021, there was no pressure. Y'all come into our house. This is our home field advantage. So in our mind, we gonna come out here and dominate. Y'all gotta step up to our level of play because we're knowing we're gonna win this game. We know. It was the same thing when we got to play Ole Miss. In the Sugar Bowl, we knew we were gonna win. Just the way we prepared, like how you talked about leadership, the leaders on that team, there was a standard. We don't care if you were a fourth string or a first string. When you touch this field, this is a certain standard that you have to play with. And if you didn't play to that standard, you had to step off that field. Like this is not the place for you right now. So for us, the mindset that we had, I mean, we could literally be watching a boxing match and it was so competitive. And it was just that we were so tight. We were always together. We always did things together. We were throwing barbecues during the summertime. Just everything you could think of, we always did it together. And we were just always together. And the level of competition at practice, like if you came to practice, you'd be like, "This is how practice is supposed to look," because it was competitive, and we all wanted to get each other better because we all wanted to win. We did whatever it took to win.
Love it. Terrence, you got anything else for Gerry?
Gerry, what are you up to these days?
I'm training quarterbacks right now, coaching a little bit, but we're primarily training quarterbacks. I started training quarterbacks, I'll say 2 months ago. So I started a quarterback training business in Arkansas and Memphis area. And I've been doing that, working with a lot of guys, worked with a couple college guys so far. Got quite a bit of high schoolers and middle schools around the area, just developing the knowledge I've learned from guys that's at 3D QB, Quincy Avery, those guys, just Wood Hewlett in Florida, the guys that I've trained with over my career, just taking their knowledge and what they're teaching and studying it on my own, as well as figuring out what's my style and what fits me, and just kind of growing that, spending my time developing those guys and helping them understand coverages, playing the game the way quarterbacks are supposed to be, the way they're supposed to operate and carry themselves, and also just taking their film and training them and breaking them down to make sure that they're understanding the proper way to throw the ball. Because I've always loved playing a position, but I didn't have a quarterback trainer in high school. I ended up getting with Quincy in college. And so for me, just spending time and investing my time in those guys to help them get to experience the things that I experienced and go further than I did. So just investing everything I can into those guys and seeing those guys have their success.
That's awesome, Gerry. We've got the link to that Instagram page in the description. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, go to YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, look in the description. You can find Gary's quarterback. Remind me what it's called again.
Quarterback Doctor Memphis.
Quarterback Dr. Memphis. And you said you texted me you might be doing some work in Waco soon.
Yeah, I plan to come down there and come back, catch a game. I want to catch a game. I don't know what game it'll be, but I want to catch a game and also kind of eventually get to the point where I can come down there and do a camp or something and get those guys in that area. A couple of players to come out, coaches, and get a group of young quarterbacks, high school, middle school, and get some work in. Because, I mean, we all trying to go to college, go to the NFL and play, and we want to meet guys that's already there and doing it. So I would love to come back and spend some time in Waco and trying to help develop some kids, and also as well get around the Baylor locker room, see the new facility, and get around those coaches again.
Awesome. Well, Gerry, thanks for your insight. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to your kids, bro. But seriously, what Terrence said, Everyone in Waco loves you, man. We love you. We were rooting for you all the way. We still are rooting for you all the way. And if you make it down for a game, seriously, shoot me a text. We'll get you in on our pregame show, treat you right, welcome you with open arms, bro. It'll be great to have you back. So thanks for the time. I hope we can talk again soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good rest of you guys' evening, and I'll see you guys when I come.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
All right, man. Thank you. All
right, Baylor quarterback Gerry Bohanon. Love that guy, Terry. You can I'm biased because you're my friend and Gary's one of my favorite players, but you can hear the similarities in the guys that win between some of the things you've said on this podcast previously and the things Gerry was saying about the mentality, we're better, go be better. Like it really is that simple when you're at that level.
Yeah, I talk to my son all the time about finding the best guy at the gym, going to learn from him or going to challenge him and getting better. What he said about, not reading the newspaper clippings, Alabama's won a lot of national championships. And Nick Saban always said it was snake poison or rat poison. Like that stuff, you start believing that and then you stop working. And if you're, I hated Texas, I hated A&M, I hated TCU and Tech and all these programs in the Big 12 because I felt like they legitimately thought that they were better than us because of the logo they wore. And so when we got to play them, I wanted to make sure that, hey man, we put on our pants just like you guys. We strap our helmets just like you guys. And then so it's refreshing to hear that was the mentality that Baylor had when they won the Big 12 championship under Aranda. It'll be interesting to know what mentality they had in when we played Oklahoma. I guess it was 2019.
19,
yeah, we played Oklahoma. It'll be interesting to see what was that thought process. But winners win. Winners win. Nick Saban said a story. It's probably an old story, but he said it. He's like, at the end of the game, when the game is tight, one of his coaches told him, like, don't worry about the play. Worry about the players. Call the players out and let them go make the plays. And, Gerry was a player for us, and he made plays, along with a lot of other people. That defense in 2021 was really good. And so
Petrie and Bernard just got paid, bro.
Yeah, they just
got paid in the league. So, yeah, we had some studs on that team for sure. But I think there's some studs on this team. And, man, let's wrap up.
I wish those two was on the defensive end this year, though. I mean,
man, don't we all?
That would be a lot of fun. But
don't we all? But
let somebody else make a name for themselves.
Keaton Thomas had a darn good season last year. Some good names in the transfer portal. Just got to find out who are those guys, man. Who are going to be the guys that make the play full speed when they're out there? And, dude, no better opportunity for that defensive front than proving it against that Auburn line, that Auburn front. It'd just be awesome to see. Terrence, let's wrap up this way because I know we've made a commitment this fall to not be too drawn out. Man, 160 people joining us live, though, on Twitter and on YouTube. Thanks so much. Make sure to like on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell. I know you hear that anytime you watch a show on YouTube, but it really does help us. It helps you keep following us. We're going to be doing this every Sunday night at 5 o'clock this season, recapping the game, previewing the next game. Today was easy because we just had to preview, and I wanted to get some good friends in here to talk with us. Thanks to Darrell and Gerry. Terrence, here's how we'll wrap up. What's your prediction, bro? What's your prediction? What is actually going to happen Friday night?
I think it's 30 to 28. Auburn has a chance to go down and kick a field goal and win the game. And I think Baylor defense get a stop, win the game. 30-28.
All right. I like it. Very specific prediction there. Yeah, I think it's Darrell said it, and I saw a lot of the comments floating around about this on the stream. Man, it's going to be fascinating to see strength on strength, how many points this Baylor offense can put up against a very good defense. There's Auburn fans saying, if you think Baylor's scoring more than 21, you're crazy. There's Baylor people, and I've said this, by the way. I've been one of the hyperbolic people that have said this on Twitter. There's Baylor people saying Baylor's going to put up 50. I don't know that that's very realistic either, especially week one. I think we score at least 30, Terrence. This is the time to be the optimist, brother. This is it. Like, I love this quarterback. I mean, you heard me going on the spring about the dadgum spider chart comparison to Seth Russell. I love this quarterback. I love this receiving core. I do think Auburn is going to make some big plays on offense. And I'm not very confident in Jackson Arnold, but I'm even less confident in our secondary until I see something. I would love to be proven wrong. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. Woo!
Say it. Put it out there.
34-31. Baylor. That'll be it. Your score was about right. I was trying to be super different than you, but I think you're about right. I think Baylor gets over 30. I think Baylor wins by about 3. I would love for Baylor to win by a touchdown, but let's say
I think Auburn's going to have
34-31.
a chance. I think Auburn's going to have a chance to win the game. You know, I don't see Baylor. Listen, games happen, man. Busted plays, miscommunication.
Right.
It could be a 50 burger. I doubt there is, but you give Bryson a crease, and that's a tutty. You give Ashton Genty, Ashton Genty.
That's the third time you've said Ashton Genty in this podcast.
Ashton Hawkins a chance to make a big play. I mean, listen, and then you blitz the house and you're playing man on the back end and Sawyer Robinson hitting you up the middle. Like, I just think there's too many options on Baylor's offense. And Spavital has been watching film of what Hugh Freeze has done, not only at Auburn, but throughout his career. And I can that first 3 drives, I bet you should feel like money from Spavital because they're scripted. Like, we're running these plays no matter what. And then as the game settles, him and Sawyer talking to each other. Hey, what do you like? What do you see? Now I do think the game starts fast and then it gets slower, and that's why I have us at 30. And then I think our defense makes opportunistic play at the end of the game to lock it up. So let's listen. All of this is just for kicks and giggles. None of this matters until Friday night at 7 p.m.
Well, thanks so much, Terrence. It's going to be a great season. Thanks so much. 160 people watching between Twitter and YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps me out. We're going to have a couple sponsors rolling in here soon that are jumping in with the Rogue Sports Network. I said it at the top. There's more of you watching now. Pete Souza show every morning. Matt Mosley show every afternoon here at Rogue Media. I'm on those shows. We talk a lot of Baylor. And then Friday, please, 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 go find Green and Gold Game Day on YouTube and subscribe. 3-hour pregame show every game this season. We will be live at the Camp Fimfo tailgate at Brazos Parking. If you just walk across MLK, you'll find our set. It's Matt Mosley. It's Faith Lynch. It's Scotty Swingler. This week, it's probably Terrence Ganaway. This week, it's Pete Souza. It's Shahan Jayaraja. It's Eddie Lackey. It's Blake Blackmar Cooking Barbecue. Please come see us at Camp Fimfo or tune in on YouTube for Green and Gold Game Day at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Friday night, and then 7 o'clock kickoff. And Terrence, we will be back next Sunday night at 5 o'clock to react to whatever we see on Friday. You know what? Next Sunday night, hold up.
It's Labor Day.
We're doing this on the fly because that's how I roll. Next Sunday night is my birthday, and we have dinner reservations.
Man, forget that. You listen, but you don't celebrate birthdays after 33 anyways. You owe.
You're right.
No, listen. We'll pivot because I think that goes into Labor Day, right? Like, maybe we can do it. Maybe we can do it Monday night if we need to pivot.
We'll be back next week. Follow me on X. Follow Terrence on X.
Have reactions before Sunday night. I promise you that.
That's right.
If it doesn't go the way I want it to go, but I'm not in the locker
right.
room, so I hope these guys are ready to rock and roll.
That's right. All righty. For Terrence Ganaway, my name has been Scotty Swingler. I know the camera keeps drifting in and out of focus too, so thanks for bearing with me on that. Thanks again to Gerry Bohanon, Darrell Dapprich. You can find this after the fact on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Those will go up tonight. Make sure to subscribe. We'll talk to you next week. Let's go beat Auburn, baby. Sick 'em Bears. See you soon.
We are Rogue Media Sports.